So in my job, I'm faced every day with people wanting me to own their challenges. So I'm a principal of a high school, and so every probably 5 minutes someone comes in and wants to get very specific about a problem and wants me to take it on. And my response, I was very pleased to hear the conversation earlier, because my response typically, so that I don't get pulled into that negativity, is to back up and be general and talk about, okay, what is good about the situation? How can we focus on a solution or an outcome, instead of,
right,
you solve this problem now, here's a problem.
All right.
You need to do this, and I don't want to own that, because then I get into this perseverating negative spiral down out of anything.
And they have come to a conclusion, and they're wanting you to back them up, because they're trying to enforce rules that are not necessarily of their making, and you're the big enforcer. You're the last word in backing them up in all of
Right.
that. You said something, and we think you're going to enjoy how this feels as it unfolds. Every day, that's a really specific statement. I am faced. And that's a really descriptive telling of how your grid feels. You're not honored, you're not awarded, you're not privileged. I'm faced with the challenge. I'm faced with the discomfort. I'm faced. So it doesn't matter what's happened before. And certainly you didn't feel that way the first day that you showed up there, but after responding to some life experiences,
Right.
Now that's the grid that you've got going on. I'm faced with you didn't use the word, but we will, because it was I'm faced with the burden of sorting out the impossible. Sort of how it feels. That's your grid. And everybody understands how it would be your grid if you're somebody just responding to the circumstances. But it doesn't have to be the grid that you show up on Monday morning with, because there's some time in between. And because you have the benefit of getting to sleep, and the benefit of getting to play with us, and the benefit of getting to consider things differently. And most important, the benefit of creating, of establishing, of recreating. Oh, that's what recreation must be. Of recreating a grid that is pleasing to you. Now, we would never suggest that you would walk away and not be the principal of that school. We think it is a wonderful fit for you for so many reasons. But you have the opportunity to reestablish a grid. So let's use some emotional words here, and let's just find the feeling place of what being the principal at that school could feel like. Do you accept that anyone at the center of anything, or the leader of anything, is more than anything a tone setter?
Yes.
A grid setter, a basis establisher. So when you step away from the details that you so much want to step away from, and you're just thinking about everything that you want relative to all of those teachers and all of the faculty and all of the students, everything that you want is because, say it with us, I want to feel better, and I want them to feel better. That's what I want. I want it to be an environment where people have a good time, where people, now we're specific. We're too specific than you could be, really feeling the way you're feeling. But what you really want, you want a happy environment where it's easy for people to learn, not just the students, but the teachers as well. You want it to be a place where interpersonal relationships are happening that are of benefit to everyone, and it is that no matter what. It is already that. I can't mess that up. This is an environment of diversity and an environment of contrast that is producing desires in the most natural of ways. This school environment, we're speaking as if we were standing in your shoes. This school environment, because we're ratcheting back to the more general, this school environment is like a microcosm of the world at large, where all kinds of people with all kinds of desires and interests and states of being and levels of understanding, what a mixture of teachers and students, are involved here. It's like co-creation at its best. And I get to stand not only as an observer of it, but as a tone setter of it. And I like the feeling, now we're going for the grid work, I like the feeling of knowing that nothing is going wrong here. It's exactly as it should be. It's the perfect environment where all kinds of things are happening and all kinds of desires are being sharpened. And I love my part in all of this. Now we're using the word love, and we can feel that it's a word that comes easily to you, and it's a word that has meaning that comes easily to you. I love people. I love people. I love people of all ages. I love my faculty. I love these kids. I love the freshness of the energy that is around here. I love the freedom that we all have to feel how we feel. I really, really love what I do here. I chose this deliberately. I love what I do. I love being there. I love sitting in my principal tower, so to speak, and radiating the Wi-Fi beam throughout the entire campus of well-being and love and right place, right time, right people. This is just such a perfect mix. I just love, 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 love this. I'm so glad that I'm here. I am honored to be this central radiating vibrational hub for this environment. And I am so happy that I know about law of attraction, that I know about the laws of the universe. I'm happy to know that every one of those kids and every one of those teachers has non-physical people that are flowing through them, and that the rendezvous points are the potential for rendezvousing in excellence, meaning joyful experiences, is just enormous. I just love this. Now, what will happen just with this much conversation, and we didn't spend really that much time on the grid, but you really felt it. Just with that much, your grid's going to feel in as soon as Monday with things that match those feelings. You're going to be faced with more things that match that, just with that little bit of concentrated focus on how you really feel, on how you want to feel. Yes, it is how you want to feel, but it is also how you really feel when you're not caught up in the momentum that is sweeping you off someplace else, you see. So then what happens, just with this little exercise and watching what fills in, you will be zigging and zagging. The universe will provide for you. And by the universe, we mean the fairies of the universe. And by the fairies of the universe, we mean all of the Abrahams and Jerrys and all of those that have gone before that you know personally, and that people that you know in the school know personally. And others, all kinds of rendezvous will begin happening, and you will have a conscious awareness. This is the best part about deliberate creation. The thing that we like most about deliberate creation is that when you deliberately set your grid in place, and then something happens, you notice the correlation between what happens. It's not just a fluke. You know it came in response to your deliberate attention to it, don't you? So as Monday comes and things start, or is it spring break for you?
It is spring break.
Oh, well, that's even better because you have much more time not to feel the relief of being away from it, but more time to feel the eagerness to return to it. You see what we're getting at?
Oh, yeah.
And when you get there, they will all be refreshed to some degree. But the difference that you're going to be noticing, and you'll be privy to conversations that you'll walk up on, all kinds of bright, beautiful rendezvous between teachers and students and students and students and teachers and teachers. You'll be seeing the results of your grid work. And then you will understand what your true work is. And when you spend time doing that, and then you see the effect of that, it'll make you want to stop wasting your time with all that action stuff that is just spinning your wheels and spinning in your juices and not accomplishing anything. Now, we're not saying that you should stop doing that. We know there are reports to be filed and there are meetings to be held and there are things to do. But do this other stuff too and watch what happens. And before you know it, you'll be one who begins shifting from the action to the focus, from the specifics to the general feeling. So think about this. Think about this. Ooh, we like thinking about this. This goes right back to the central concept of your question. You're going to do some general grid work just like we just did. And the specifics are going to fill in. And you're going to be inspired to the action that is inspired. And you're going to be busy. You're going to be happily busy, following through with the ideas that are flowing between you and others. You're going to be busy, but it's going to be busy, inspired, grid stuff, rather than trying to fix stuff that is broken stuff. You see what we're getting at? So this isn't about non-action. This is about inspired action. This is about the grid influencing the action and then the reward of that action because it came from the center of that which you are. Really good.
Yes. So I have done that kind of conceptual work, going in thinking how lucky I am, how honored I am, how I think lucky others are in the school that I have come to this place and with this philosophy about how to deal with kids. And an example, I came back from a meeting on Friday and we're breaking for spring break, and there's this ominous envelope on my desk. And I open it up and it's this letter from a number of teachers asking for very specific actions on my behalf and things that I haven't done that have caused some degrading of the climate and culture and decorum of the school. And my first reaction is, well, you know, I did this and I did that and I did that, and they don't know all the whole story there. And then I get back to, well, if I go back in on the following Monday and say, I'm honored, I'm proud, and I feel great, and I'm lucky to be here, and then they say, well, what about that letter that we put on your desk?
Well, you're not going to say it out loud to them.
Okay.
You're just going to feel it, you see. And if you feel it and mean it, then you will rendezvous with the parts of them that match that. Okay. And when the other parts of them show up, and there might still be some momentum of that, sure. Then you'll do it again, and then you'll do it again, and then you'll do it again. And before you know it, you'll be inspired to action, because all they want is results. They want results, and they are invested in your behavior that they think that you need to behave in order to get them the results that they want. In other words, they're out there floundering. They don't know what they're doing. They're trying to control uncontrollable situations and asking you to back them up to control the uncontrollable situations. And everybody agrees that it's uncontrollable, and yet they've assigned it to you to control. And so you're going to bring in the big guns. You're going to bring in the big grid. You're going to use the fairies of the universe. You're going to use all of the resources that are at your disposal, and you're going to solve the problem, but you're going to do it your way. You're going to do it vibrationally, you see. And sometimes they're not going to understand that. So this is where the layering of the grids happens. So let's say you do this work and you've already done it. In other words, if you didn't have another thought about it before you return, it's in place, and you would notice enough improvements that you would know that really good work had happened and really good leverage had happened, and the grid is filling in with things that match what you all want. But then these teachers, let's say, have some momentum going. That's why they laid it on you right before spring break. They didn't want to see you for the next few days. They wanted you to ponder it and think about it and stew over it, and make some decisions so that when you get back you could jump through the hoops that they want you to jump through.
Exactly.
And so they're going to come back, and they're probably going to be expecting something from you. And what they're going to get from you is appreciation for their interest in the school. Unspoken, but felt so strongly. What they're going to get from you is assurance that everything is all right. What they're going to get from you is a feeling of well-being and stability and love and appreciation. The place is just going to feel different to them because we have set this grid in motion. This school feels different. It's going to feel different to them, and it's going to knock the legs out of that momentum. That negative momentum cannot abide in this vibration. It cannot. There will be that one ringleader, stalwart one, who will muster it all up and who will still come at you with it. And this is the point of this long story that we're giving you. And then you're going to have an opportunity to deliberately create another grid specific to that. So now it's not just a bunch of them, it's a specific person with a specific rhetoric and a specific energy and a specific problem, but your work is still the same. Esther's been doing it on paper. She just draws her grid and writes the words within it and then visually expects it to fill in. So you'll write about this person, how you really feel about this person. This is a caring person.